that is money that we are generally sending, and we'll not, in general, we won't see the returns of it because we are generally sending that money. The Kenyan diaspora is generally sending that money for consumption, right? So if there were smart systems, either a smart government, which we currently don't have, and so absent of a smart government, building on projects such as Mkura and other blockchain projects, Kenyans can come together and have a DAO that can do something like that. So, um, yeah, that's my submission.
Thank you. You seem to be saying something that is resonating with a lot of people in the diaspora. Because when you mentioned about the Grand Ethiopian Dam, I saw so many hands go up. But before I bring in everyone else and the blockchain thing, let me take it back to Mweru. I see your hand is up again. You raised some very solid points.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to sort of piggyback on what the speaker Tony and Dego were discussing. I just remembered we have a Kenyan journalist that actually now broadcasts in India. I don't know if you guys know Eric Njoka, but I usually watch him on the news here, and he's usually broadcasting from an Indian news company.
The station is called AO or AOU something. Yeah. I'll look for it. I'll look for it.
Yeah, so somebody can. I personally can take on that initiative where when you draft this lawsuit, I'm assuming it's going to be a lawsuit because honestly, let me just ask the legal person here because I don't understand the laws in Kenya. Because here in the US, for instance, public participation has to be there. Even if you open a club on a street, before they can grant you that liquor license, there's always a huge sign announcing to the public. If you have any objections to us granting this business a liquor license, you have a right to speak up and stop it. So this part where I'm just directing this to the lawyers who will be working on this part where in page 135 to 136 where they mention the constitution and they are pretty aware that there's supposed to be public participation. Is it possible to base a lawsuit on that to stop this? Because I feel like, I appreciate that you're willing to do this on a voluntary basis, but it's crazy. We have to stop it. There's also I'm sorry, I just forgot what I was going to say, but just
Mweru, if you could just stay on the line as I wanted to answer you. What we've agreed with Wakili Ndegwa is actually a semi-legal process. It's a quasi-legal process because we are going to write a legal petition. It will be a petition, but it will be addressed to the official leader of the opposition in India, which is a Congress party led by the Gandhi family. And that petition will carry including, and I think I'll be communicating with you through Anthony and vice versa, so that we get that reporter and we get all the details, including the documents that you have, so that petition will be signed by Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, and it will be signed on behalf of the official leader of the opposition in Kenya. And it will be through the jurists that Ndegwa will put together, over 30 of them. We will put together a very comprehensive petition involving the corruption between the Kenya government and Adani and facilitated by the Indian government of Modi. And that petition will also say there are documents that are being hidden and revenues and streams and other things which are not being exposed, and they can use their parliamentary powers there to summon Adani and to summon all those things so that those documents become available. That petition, somebody has even said, should be presented. We can, of course, request my friend Eugene Wamalwa to go and present that with Lawyer Ndegwa in India. We will be happy for that to happen. I don't know what Ndegwa thinks and what Mweru thinks.
Is it possible to file the same thing in the courts in Kenya? While you're doing that in India, can somebody file this in Kenya too to see if we filed a lawsuit or a petition in Kenya also can help? Because honestly, part of the deal is they also require that there be public participation, and it did not happen.
I think just to add up on what Tony has said, and to give our commitment to making sure that this process move on. This process is much more political than legal. because you realize that Zakayo is not one person that you want to fight from one front of just having a court order and saying, do not do this, don't do this. The approach that we have a quasi approach, both political and legal approach, is the best strategy that can help us get out of this conundrum. And I agree with you, and I'll be meeting with Tony. I've shared my number with him on my DM, so that once we're done with this, we'll have a sitting and prepare that concrete petition. The other approach is that we must occupy anything that is Indian. We must occupy the Bank of Baronda, the Indian Bank. We must also have a strategy of occupying the embassy so that we may share the pains in equal measure. So that even as we present this petition, the signal will have already been sent way before that things are not right in Kenya. I thank you.
And before Mweru, thank you. And one thing I wanted to encourage Mweru is that on that document she was reading, she's very good, as Tony was saying, on extracting some of the issues that she found very, very offensive. You can make a summary of the same and forward it to me. I will share details with you also so that I can forward them to the legal team. I want you to feel very involved in the matter. And also the issue of the journalist you have said, let you and Tony, I'm going to coordinate both of you so we know who that journalist is. So when we are ready with the petition, we give him a heads up, and so that in India we are also mobilized by the time we are reaching presentation of the petition.
Yeah, I'm really willing to do that. The journalist, I do have personal. He's a friend, so
it's Eric Ndoka, right?
Yeah, so I can reach out to him personally. He's a good friend of mine, but. Yeah, so I'm really down. And I agree with Negwa that the best way to deal with this, obviously, is tackle it in India, tackle it in Kenya, and hit the streets, because we have to stop this from happening. This is unacceptable. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm reading this. They're saying, yeah, they're promising to provide all this initiative. We can do this in Kenya ourselves. We're fully qualified. We don't need them to come to our country as run our country.
Mweru, I want to assure you that what you have done today, you do not know. You have motivated the two very important men on this on this forum who are going to do something about this. I can assure you, this matter has been taken up at the highest level, and I can tell you the opposition party of India will be dealing directly with the opposition party in Kenya on this matter. And I didn't know this before this space. I'm very grateful to Kenya that this space took place today, because we can do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. I see a couple of hands up. Let me bring in JKIA. I've been seeing your hand up for a minute.
Hello, fellow Kenyans. Hope we are all good. I'm a Kenyan citizen speaking from diaspora. This thing hit us all. It's not only those who are in the ground only. We are Kenyan. That is our homeland. We fought for many years to gain our independence. But now, the governance that is taking place right now is using the neocolonialism to, this. I don't know what to call this. A traitor. I don't know how to call him, because he cannot tell us. He can sell our airport without our knowledge, and yet we are paying taxes at the first place. We have the KRA. We have taxes from, let's say, for example, here in diaspora, we bring a lot of millions per month to Kenya. Where does that money go to? Does it mean we cannot build our airport by ourselves? We can, yes, we can. But this president is just greedy. Let's say he's just a puppet. He's being used by the West. He's being used by the Chinas. Where he sees there is a hot deal and there is a stake, he just bump into. Whereby who are getting the loss? It's only as the common mwananchi. We are here on that space fighting for our children, fighting for our parents. For example, there is these things. I haven't heard you speaking about this Mombasa cement. I think when this man died is when these Adani groups, they were given that chipped in and started working. I don't know if they started working, but I've seen the headlines and this thing are just it's just disturbing me because this Indian, the one that who passed away, meaning he knew something was going to happen. Why didn't Adani came when this Indian man was alive? And after all, after when he died, is when we.
Let me read something someone has just sent me. They say when let me just. It's a very interesting thing. They say you can mute your mic. During the wedding of Mukesh Ambani's son, one of the attendees was a Kenyan by the name, the guy who owns Simba Cement. He was the only Kenyan who attended it. The other person who was in attendance was Adani himself. So someone, from what I'm reading here, is that was the linkage. Now, what is common between these two people? What is his name? The Kenyan guy. Tony, when you get it, tell me. The guy who owns cement here in Kenya. He opened coal. They're looking into coal, which is also what Adani does. Cement, which is also what Adani does. Infrastructure, which is also what Adani does. And I'm seeing here that if you draw the correlation between the two main companies, it's almost a mirror image of each other. And it goes back to what Muero said, that once these Indians come in terms of construction of the airport and doing all these projects, they will not leave. They will stay here permanently. And the next thing you might hear is that Adani will take over the running of the railway system in Kenya. So these are things we need to watch out for. But to add to that, I'm seeing, I don't know whether you had finished, JKIA, so that I bring in Komo and Lutomia. Then we can close in 20 minutes.
Okay, I didn't finish. The second thing I want to say, when you see this, I think this years that the president elected, like let's say the Minister of Mining, this Joho, because the president, they have that relationship, because the president himself, he want to use those people who cannot focus on what the 99% of Mwananchi. You see, he's focusing on those leaders who were looters. Example, the Minister of Mining. Does he have the knowledge of mining? He doesn't have. So people are being elected on seats that they don't prefer them. See, Ruto did this because there is best titanium in the Kwale region, sir. He's electing this Joe so that he can loot. Next year, there is a Chinese or there is a Singaporean who has shares in the best titanium. And when Kenyans are going, because the streets are belonging to the Kenyans right now, that are our offices right now.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I'm supposed to close at 10, so I'll ask you to be brief so that I take final remarks and close.
Brief, so that I can finish. When we have looked on the airport side, we haven't looked on the environment. Aden Duale is elected as the Minister of Environment, whereby, as you see, the forests are being sold to these rich Arabs. In the name of, I don't know, carbon or what. We will be talking about the airport.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you. Let's keep it to the JKIA. Wednesday we'll be here again. We can talk about that. Is that okay?
Okay. So,
thank you.
Okay, only 1 minute, then I close.
I'll give you half. I really want to wind up. Sorry,
Nakuarakisha. Okay.
So let me give Komo, because you are several. Let me give Komo. I'll give you 1 minute each. Komo. There's this guy who has his name in Arab. Then Lutomia 1 minute. Then I'll give Ndegwa to close. Ndegwa, then Tony. Then we close the space up. So, Como.
Okay, thank you. I hope I'm being heard by everyone. Good evening to all. My name is Komu Gitonga, and first of all, let me say, in Kenya right now, we are living in a scam. Let's just generally accept that Kenya, the place that we are in right currently, it's just a scam. So not many people out there know the whole idea of it. Watu tu wanasikia Adani.
Is Komu there? We can't hear him.
Como, people can't hear
Can
you.
you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear?
Yeah, go on.
I hope everyone else can hear. Oh. So what I was because we have a household, right? Because out there is no public
Como,
there is any public.
Como, check your internet connection.
Hear me
You
now.
seem to be breaking a lot. No, check your internet connection. Then I'll bring you back.
Can you?
There's this guy with an Arab name. The mic is yours as I wind this up.
Oh, thank you, Tony. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Much for Tony here, and we're trying to know about all this that is going on. A good evening, good morning, and a good afternoon from wherever you are, guys. Asante sana kwa kukuja space, guys. This is what I want to say in my 1 minute. As the only thing.
Can't tell these guys we've lost them. We can't hear them.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can. Go
it's
on.
okay. Lutomia to reset. Yeah. Now, this is what I want to say. Yeah. The main reason why we had Mau Mau and the main reason why we have a national anthem today, it was because we wanted people out and we wanted to own our own land, and tulikuwa tunataka kukuwa na vitu vyetu bila interferences ya people who are outside there. So I want to say that the JKIA deal needs a lot of pressure. We need help from people, Kenyans in India. We have people in India. We need all the help we can get. Then we hit the streets in Kenya. This battle is only going to be won when the news is out there. That is what won the battle of Finance Bill 2023. So we really need to make a lot of noise about it here at home and abroad, so that as the legal thing happens on paper and in the background, we really need a lot of noise. This thing needs a lot of anger, more than the anger that we heard for the Finance Bill 2023. The last thing I'd love to say is that Ruto is not. This whole problem comes with that guy being there. So, in as much as we're still pushing JK and everything, this whole problem has one source, and the source is Baba Shalay. So the early the better, guys. Let's go to the streets if you can. Do what you can as Tony and Ndegwa as council also push this thing on the other end. That is my submission. Back to you, Anthony. Thank you.
Thank you very much for keeping it brief. Lutomia, you're next.
Thank you, Anthony, for moderating the session. We have been listening to all the comments, suggestions, and instructions. We have listened to councils here, and allow me to respectfully, some of them, I call them activists and rumor But at the end of the day, we are patriots. We are Kenyans. Is it true that we are still the pride of Africa? Unless we are lying to ourselves, we are losing that tag that we've maintained in Africa. The project is worth it, it is timely, and it needs to start like yesterday. We understand the concerns that are there, but at the same time, fear, we cannot play postponement, and we can't play politics, asset. So all the rumors put together, plus our brothers and sisters who are away, I pray that you come back and face the reality here on the ground. You can set up inquiries, lawsuits the way we want, which is good, but I think you can't stop it. This is something that needs to move. We have a sober government. We have sober technocrats. We have people who are patriotic, serving in government, and they mean well for this nation. This is a conversation that can't stop today. Today has been a room for those that are against or those that are poking holes to the project. Anthony, please bring this same topic back and give us time to now explain and separate chaff from wheat, separate fiction from facts, because all of us are here and we know that this is a project that is worth to have started yesterday and to be launched tomorrow. I rest my case.
Thank you, Lutomia. I'll look into what you've suggested. If people from the government can come and give their 2 cents on why they chose this direction, we'll be very happy to have them. Now, Muero, you're the second last. Then we get the final remarks from Degwa and Tony. Then we can close it up.
Yeah, thank you. I let me just make a comment, just to respond to the previous speaker. So Adani, if you read this deal on page 77, this is what they're promising. They're saying they're going to bring in expertise, innovation, and a commitment to excellence, and they'll deliver value and quality above expectation and sustainability. Well, in my opinion, Kenyans are fully capable and competent and qualified to deliver the same thing. Uh, the financial goal or investment, they're saying they're only going to invest $2.5 billion. Okay, that is peanuts. $2.5 billion is only 313 Kenya shillings. Okay, so since you're talking about facts, get on the KRA revenue website and just take a note. In just 1 year, Kenya's revenue has grown by 11%, and we have collected 2.4 trillion Kenya shillings revenue from Kenyans. Okay? So if you're somebody that understands numbers and mathematics, you can easily realize that if you multiply that 2.4 trillion by 30 years, that this Adani group is pledging to invest only 2.5 billion $2.5 or 313 billion Kenya shillings. If you do the math, you realize we can easily afford to do this ourselves. We don't need deals with external people. We are fully capable of doing this. So the only explanation and rationale, if you're somebody that believes that you need to, if you have issues in your own home, you'd rather bring an outsider to help you solve your issues because you're completely incompetent and incapable of solving your own problems, I disagree. We have the funds, we can afford it. They're going to do they're planning on doing this in 3 phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Kenya can afford phase 1 by itself. Just do the math, you realize you don't need to strike deals like this unless they're for personal gain. Anyway, I'm very upset. Okay, go ahead. I'm done. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you. Degwa, you're next. Then Tony, then
Anthony,
Lutomia.
just
Thank you,
before
Anthony.
Lutomia.
just
No,
before
no, no. We are not going
Thank
to
you,
allow
Anthony.
this.
Sorry.
Degwa, Anthony, can you let Degwa be gone? Yeah.
Degwa, go on.
Thank you, Anthony. I cannot agree more with the submissions made on this platform and on this space. At least we are doing what Zakayo is not able to stop us from doing. He thought that we shall engage our brains on the streets alone, but we are engaging our brains on the spaces where he cannot fight us with his bullets and with his water cannons. I've just had someone called Mount Kilimanjaro who says and who endorses the proposal by Tony about the petition and says that Mweru 22 must be included as a technical person in this particular petition. It tells you the majority of the Kenyans who are identifying with our cause and people who are feeling that something must be done. It is we who shall do that thing that must be done, irrespective of the cost that it will attract, be it financial, be it psychological or social, or whatever cost that it must attract. a price must be paid to redeem this country. If we do not pay this price, as and when we are called to foot the bill, as we are now being invited, it's our children who shall pay this deal. My son, Degwanjiro Jr., is now 10 years old. My second born is 4 years. My last born is 6 months. It means by the time they are getting to adulthood, Adani will still be at the airport. He will still be passing through and being processed by Adani. Why? Because their daddy failed. So if I fail to take actions today, I'll be failing my 10 years old Dekwajiro Jr. I'll be failing my Modoniwa, Moisio. I'll be failing my young daughter. We must take actions, and actions must be taken now. Any moment we waste in our delay will only be or tantamount to saying that we are entertaining and identifying with Zakayo. And let Anani know that Zakayo, upon taking Zakayo to Sugoi, or upon taking Zakayo to Kamiti, we shall be on his case. So we are putting him on notice that buyer beware, caveat emptor, that this is our property, we shall fight for it with our bloods. My grandfather, who was a Mau Mau, was involved akienda kuchimba hiyo airport ikijengwa during the time of
Hiyo ni vitisho boss.
colonization, when you were being taken to detention camp. My grandfather dug that airport. Those people who do not have that history. Hiyo airport ilichimbwa na mikono za watu. Haikukuwa na caterpillar, hakukuwa na excavators. Our grandfathers are the ones who fought and who, sorry, not fought, who timbered that thing, that ground. They are the ones who leveled. They are the ones who put in place the runway. I will not allow, we shall not allow Adani to run away with the blood or with the blood of our grandfather. I am ready, I am able, I am willing. I've just spoken to my senior, Kibe Mungai, who is the patron of the Mount Kenya jurist. And he says that I get Tony's number. We plan for a meeting on Friday so that we can get these things done. And if things are not done and done urgently, this country will go to the ICU. It's not the time to take the tranquilizing drugs anymore. We do not want painkillers anymore. We want real and real-time solutions. And it shall be offered by us, irrespective of the consequences. And I know they are here, they are listening to this conversation, but they better be put on notice that even San Abacha was there, Mobutu Sese Seko was there, and so many of them came and went, and we shall protect our sovereignty. The blood and the sweat that my grandfather sweat when he was digging the runway to that airport must triple down on me when I am protecting its existence. Thank you, guys. I rest my case. I feel so charged that this has happened, and I thank Tony for this space. I feel like I am raving to go to do that which is right and which is just. Viva, viva, viva.
Thank you, Ndegwa, for those powerful closing remarks. I did not know that our grandparents actually built JKIA with their bare hands. Tony Gashoka, you have any final remarks before we close it up?
I want to confirm and give my public undertaking that I will bring the full force of my political and social capital to put the leaders of the opposition at the disposal of the legal team of Degwa and my good brother Kibe, his senior, so that this petition can see the light of day. And we will coordinate with the Kenyans who are willing, with the media friends we have in India, and the people who we have across, and the breadth of both the legal and the political, to make sure a petition lands to the Congress party and delivered in person. to the Indian Congress on this matter of Adani. On the guy from the government who was here to attack us, I want to remind him what the Greeks said before. You know, the gods used to say that for those that gods want to destroy first, they make mad. There is no doubt in my mind that Zakayo is walking the path that has been walked by other tyrants in this continent. Dego has mentioned Mobutu Sese Seko. I can include on that list Dr. Amin Dada, Field Marshal, Samuel Dole of Liberia, Emperor Bokassa, Kamusu Banda, and this African continent boasts of so many of them that lived with a gun. Even in Sudan, there was Bashir. And they believe that because they have the gun and they have the bank, the central bank, that they will never fall down, including Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe. But let me tell this Zakayo, he will not be the first nor the last tyrant that will fall on his sword. And the Kenyan people will not allow our airport and our heritage to go to waste. And therefore, this particular battle, in honor of the Jay-Z's whose blood was spilled on the streets of Nairobi on the finance bill of 2023, who are their fathers and their uncles, we are going to work on this Adani deal with our social capital to ensure that we externalize this pressure to an extent that Zakayo will feel the heat. With those very few and many words, I agree with Wakili Fever. This is something we are going to take up and come back to this forum to report.
Thank you very much, Tony, for those wonderful closing remarks. And to everyone on this space, thank you for being such wonderful listeners and a great panel. We did not argue, we did not talk over each other. We do it in a very hospitable manner. I'm trying to get the words out of my mouth. We shall be back again on Wednesday with Point Blank, where we say it like it is, point blank. We not only discuss issues, but we equally give some wonderful solutions to it. So to everyone on the space, see you Wednesday, same time, 8 to 10. We shall have a wonderful panel. I see all the requests, but let's meet again on